Your data is the most valuable thing you own. Tonight, we're going to talk about 3 ways companies are taking it and what you can do about it. Welcome to Behind the Network. My name is Anthony Miller, owner-operator, TREPIC Networks.
My name is Alec Miller, operations manager here at TREPIC Networks. All right, we're back for episode 11. We got some fun topics here today. One of the little hook there in the beginning, we talked about the hiding the data. We have a couple of topics surrounding that. So very first one is the AI companies that are training their robots on your data. It's a pretty big topic right now. A lot of people are kind of worried about what kind of information that those AI companies have of you.
Well, there's a lot of people worried about it, and then some people are just putting their data in blindly,
Yeah.
and they're just feeding these AI companies data by asking them questions about their lives. I mean, if you've ever used AI, you can see it. Sometimes it knows more about you than you think it does because you ask it a question, it spits back an answer, and you don't realize that it came from like something you talked about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, by the way, your 2500 Ford truck or whatever deal could use this well.
Yeah.
And it knows because you had a conversation like, what's going on with my Ford filter and my 2500 diesel or whatever.
Yes.
And so it brings up stuff from old conversations. So it's actually gathering all that data and it remembers all that data. And these companies have access to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the models are all being trained off of the conversations with you. And that's kind of the interaction you want. You want them to...
It is nice sometimes. Sometimes it's really nice when it brings up old stuff, but sometimes it's like, are you really listening to me that much?
Well, it's like, providing the bot with context into your life, into what you do for work, into what kind of things you're working on, really helps it answer questions very accurately.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, something I've done with all of my AI bots. It's not like I go and wipe my data after I'm done or anything like that.
No.
But there is a lot of talk about what they're using that's publicly available. And the truth is to learn how to talk and how to interact and stuff like that with humans, they've scraped social media.
Yeah, they have access to the full internet. So, I mean, they can look at anything that's ever been made public on the internet.
Yes.
So people don't think about that. Their social profiles via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It can look at all those pictures, all those posts.
I mean, anything you've posted publicly and your account isn't private. I mean, not only is that available to everybody.
Yes,
but
AI can scrape it at a really fast pace where it would take you like a human to go research that and find all that stuff.
Yes.
AI can do it almost instantly.
Yeah.
And find all this stuff. And it's not like people just don't think about it, stuff that you posted. Say your brother, sister, family member posted something about you. It can see that as well.
Yeah.
So it posted a topic like, happy birthday to you. And now it knows what day's your birthday because what day it was posted.
Yeah, right.
And so now it knows your birth date. It knows all this information about you.
Well, and also a lot of people are making posts and they geotag the photo.
Yep.
And that's all information that's publicly available.
Yep. And go look at the geolocation of the photo, see where it was taken. And so it's kind of scary. I mean, some of the stuff it knows about you, but
I mean, it's the same thing that anybody would know about you if you made all of your life public. It's the world we live in today is making your life public.
Which is why I recently read an article where, people are going back to old flip phones and deleting all their social media profiles. They're like, I don't want anything about me on the internet.
Yeah.
And they're going back to flip phones and they're canceling all their social media programs.
Yeah, but it doesn't do any, I mean, you can't delete it from the internet. It lives forever.
You're right. It lives forever. But you can prevent it going forward, I guess, and try to delete your data through these companies.
Yes.
But sometimes that's not always successful.
And there are questions, how do I opt out? How do I avoid doing this? And some platforms allow you to. It's probably buried in their settings.
I know, but the good thing about today in ChatGPT world, you can just ask ChatGPT how to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
What I mean? Like, honestly, you can screenshot it and say, how do I delete my data on Facebook?
Yeah.
And ChatGPT will give you very detailed instructions of exactly
on whether or not you can do it.
Whether or not you can, how much you can delete it. It'll tell you every step of every process.
Yes.
To a T. And so those are some of the niceties of having ChatGPT or things.
And also making all of your profiles private.
Yes.
That's a good way to opt out of, I mean, it's not that it's 100% secure, but, at least it's not easily findable.
Yeah, people want to have their social media profiles for like their family members that live out of state. It's just easier than sending them a photo every time they take one. They can post and then you can see like grandma can see photos of their grandkids or things of that nature. And so a lot of that you can do, you can lock it down to just your family, friends, close friends, and then it's not really a public profile anymore. It's a private photo. And sometimes that's enough for you. I mean, like I said, you can ask ChatGPT what level you want to go to, and it'll help you put the settings to where you feel comfortable with what's up.
Yeah, I'm not really sure as far as what data like OpenAI or Anthropic have on you, whether or not you can extract that. It would be a good question to ask.
Yeah.
But I doubt that you can scrape your, if they got it publicly, I doubt.
Yeah, I haven't done too much research. I do know if you pay for like their premium services, you have the option to clear like your chat history and everything, and then you can, they're not going to use that data for anything in the future. You have the option. If you're on their free platform, though, I think it's kind of known up front. You accept the cookies in the bottom. It says we're going to use your data.
Yes.
And so you're using a free platform to ask questions and stuff. And so I think I'm not 100% sure, like I said, but I think that if you read the fine print and you're not paying for those services, they have the ability to use your data and things of that nature.
Well, the bottom line is if you're concerned about AI agents being trained on you, assume anything you post publicly is going to be used.
Yeah.
All of your wording, photos, geolocation. Turn off AI training on major platforms, LinkedIn, X, Meta. Be cautious of what you share in the ChatGPT prompts.
Yes.
Check the settings inside there and just understand the trade-offs of privacy versus convenience, and just be educated on what you're doing, especially if it's something you're concerned
It's
about.
just like using the internet. Be careful with it. You know what I mean? It's like anytime you do anything on the internet, just know that some things you can't get back. You can't take away, you can't pull off the internet no matter how much you try. It's extremely difficult to get some stuff removed from the internet.
Well, and we as a company we're not selling people's data, users' data to AI companies, but the websites that you're visiting using our internet are absolutely selling your data to AI companies.
Yeah. Basically, we're just saying, here's the website. Go look at the website. We're just providing the access or the pathway to use these websites and look at these websites. And so we're not collecting any data, so we're not selling any data. So it's one of those things that we're just, here's the access to the website. Once you get to that website, who knows what they're collecting on you? Whatever you enter in any field, anything like that, they could be collecting data at any moment. If you're filling out a form or anything like that, they could be collecting data on you for sure.
All right, so AI companies are scraping your data. They're learning about you, everything. But let's talk about one of the other major ways that companies are using your data and getting your data, which is in the form of cookies. Everyone is familiar with cookies. There's different regulations based on country, based on state, but for the general purpose, there's always that little pop-up that comes up to accept all cookies. So we just kind of want to break down that and talk about it. The first one is the first party, which is the site you're on, like a Facebook uses your cookie. When you go back log into Facebook, it saves your login credentials.
Yeah, and some of those are things just nice to remember, like when you get to those websites. Like when stuff auto loads and auto populates, usually it's because of a cookie that's allowing to happen.
Yeah, and a good example is software that I've used. It uses geolocation. And when I originally had all cookies blocked on my computer, and every time I would use the software, it would show up in like the Midwest. Because that's where the site was located. But when I allowed cookies on, my pin would always appear in Arizona.
Which is super convenient. So you don't have to sit there and scroll.
And that's a cookie that's stored on my computer with their site. Or stored on their site about my computer.
On their server about your computer. It says, hey, this computer's accessing, he's in Arizona, put him in Arizona.
Yeah, and for the most part, all of those first-party cookies are incredibly useful and not harmful.
Yeah, usually what they're doing on websites now is they have like 3 different versions. There's like an accept all, accept bare minimum, or reject all. You know what I mean? So they have like...
But you can't, they almost always have the required cookies.
Required. They have like a, it's not allow all, it's allow required only. You know what I mean?
Required only.
Required only. That's what I meant by that. But I have seen that. And so if you're really concerned about what data they're trying to track you can at least click that one.
And just to understand what kind of data the optional cookies are, those are the third-party cookies from advertisers and trackers.
That's like if you've ever been on a website and you start going and you remember you were looking at something shopping for something on the internet.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you're on their website and you see it like on the side browsers or anything like that.
Yep.
And so those ads can be specifically tailored to you.
Yeah, basically.
And that's because you were on the other person's website. They gathered that you were looking at this, and now they're showing you back an ad.
And just so people understand what those can grab, they can grab the device type, the operating system, what browser you were on, obviously your IP address, the general location of where you live.
Yeah.
And there's other information that can be tagged onto that and sold to other companies. You know, like you visited a website about buying a home and you marked on the homeowner.
Yes.
And that's now attached to your
now
your
profile
advertising
and
profile.
Yeah.
Yes, that's sold to those companies. But what they can do is it's all attached to your IP address.
Yes.
So they know that likely this person is a homeowner. He looked for barbecue grills on his phone. And then you go on your laptop and it says this person is browsing on Lowe's. Let's advertise in barbecue grills.
Yeah, if you've ever done that or whatever, like you probably haven't done it because it's just you and your wife at home or whatever. But I have kids and stuff. It's like if they go shop for something and all of a sudden I start getting ads on my computer for something, my daughter's makeup or whatever that my daughter's been looking at, it's because they've tagged my house as advertisings for that makeup.
Yes.
And so then I go on my laptop and go on Facebook and I'm scrolling and I see an advertisement for makeup. Well, I haven't looked at any makeup, but my daughter's over there shopping for makeup on my laptop or mom's laptop or whatever, and things like that happen.
Yeah, as far as cookies, I mean, they're not incredibly dangerous or scary. They're really just for advertising purposes.
There's no malicious intent to that need.
Well, I don't think there's anything really malicious. Like I said, it's general location. It's not like he lives at this address.
No, it's usually like a zip code or something.
Yeah, he lives in this zip code. Yes. And it's more about your IP address and what kind of interests you have.
Well, and you know, usually they're trying to see most recent purchases or most recent shopping. They're not really looking for something you were shopping 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They're looking like, hey, what has he done in the past 90, 180 days?
Yep.
You know what I mean? What's he been looking for recently? Because they know as a buyer that if they feed you the ads, the chance of converting you to come purchase that product is super high because you've already been looking at it.
Yeah.
You're kind of shopping, so they're getting you back into it and things of that nature.
Well, and Google Ads uses the data for the little pop-ups that show up on your screen, that show up on the sides. They use that. Like, this guy happens to be a homeowner that's interested in barbecue grills. So a little pop-up ad show up for Lowe's pays.
You probably say barbecue grills because I've been doing it too. I've gone to barbecue guys and looked at their barbecue grill stuff, and I just get blasted with that. So whoever they're paying for their advertisers doing a really good job because I've been on their website, and you go on their website, and 10 minutes later, you're getting an ad about barbecue grills.
Yes.
And whoever they're paying to do their ads, they're paying top dollar because I have not been on their website and not gotten an ad 10 minutes later.
That's funny.
And so it's extreme.
But it kind of to land on, you know, what to do moving forward if there's something you want to do about it. All of the browsers have security settings you can turn on to automatically block all cookies.
Yep.
And you can deny your site location, the location. You can auto deny that to every site that requests it. And it'll give you a little pop-up. Do you want to allow this site too?
Yeah, and you're still going to get ads. People have to understand. They're still going to get ads. They're just not going to pertain to you.
Yeah.
They're going to be general ads about the area. Sometimes they might be other people, like local advertisers advertising in that area. They know you live in this zip code. They know
they just don't happen to have the extra.
They don't have the extra data. So you're still going to get ads. It doesn't prevent ads from happening.
Yeah.
It just prevents specific ads from happening.
And you can also clear your cookie history. You can clear all of that off of your computer so they're no longer attached to there, but it's still attached to your phone. Yeah. It's still attached to your other computer or whatever.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you know, it's the same thing as the AI training. Like, we can't see this kind of data.
Yeah, TREPIC is an ISP.
And we're not selling the cookie information.
No, we don't have any cookie information or anything. Like, the only thing that we have is if you go to our specific website, we're just like other websites.
Yeah.
But while you're browsing on us as an ISP, we have no control over that.
Yeah.
Like I said in the beginning, we just basically, here's the website, go to the website, and that's all. And whatever you do between you and the website's your own deal. We just basically serve the website up to you that you request.
And we never sell browsing data.
No.
We don't sell any of that tracking data. We don't
don't.
sell any of our customers' information to advertisers, where some other national ISPs may.
I hard. I mean, it's one of those things, like, it's even specific to us. Like, it's hard to track down exactly where people are actually going on the internet. We just don't have the tracking stuff in there.
Yeah.
And so generally, you know what I mean? Like, we can see, like, what server stuff is going to, like, our biggest, like, you can see, and you're just tagging to see, like, we have so much of our traffic's going to Netflix. But just general information so we can kind of see, so we can better connect the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we want to make sure that if we have 40% traffic to Netflix, we want the fastest route to Netflix because that's a big portion of our internet.
Yes.
And so we just track, like, the major ones so that we can serve those
Google.
up better. Google,
Google is a big
YouTube,
one,
things
yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
Akamai, like big ones you've never heard of. We like to track those ones and know how much of our traffic is going there and how quickly it can get there. Because sometimes there's things we can do as an ISP, like buy better connections to those servers so that we
By direct connections.
by direct
in our data
connections, we
center,
can get a direct connection to that provider and deliver
Yeah.
that traffic directly.
which all
instead
makes
of-
our the
The
experience
experience for the customer way better. And
Yeah.
so we try to do that as much as possible, because sometimes, like, if you know, we buy internet from a different ISP, like a larger ISP that sells to ISPs like us, it's not always the best connection.
Yeah.
But sometimes we can get a direct connection to those server places, and then it's a way better connection because now it's straight through us.
I think we're kind of wrapped up on that subject. Moving on next is into big news in Arizona right now. We're not really sure how far it's going to go, but we're going to talk a little bit about BEAD, which is the federal grant money for the state of Arizona to get connected with fiber,
Yeah.
which is already happening all over Arizona without any federal money.
Yes.
It's already
Well,
happening.
there's tons of providers building in here because the growth is so large. You know,
Yeah.
growth in Arizona is huge. So there's a lot of providers moving in and over fiber building, like, tons of areas.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of that is where they're overbuilding older providers.
Yes.
Or not up to date providers.
Yeah, building
upper
new providers. Yeah, building
Yeah.
new builds, neighborhoods, things of that.
But what BEAD is it's what it stands for is Broadband Equity, Access, and Deployment Program, and it's essentially a federal program signed in early 2021 and starting to get deployed now. And the purpose is to get people at a minimum 100 megabits down and 20 up. I believe that's the definition of broadband.
Yes. Yep. That's the
Yeah.
minimum definition that you can offer for that, for sure.
And they're trying to get it to people that don't have access because they have the census information
Yeah.
of what kind of internet certain neighborhoods, certain areas
Yeah,
actually.
ISPs have filed and reported that they can provide to neighborhoods. They can look at the BEAD map and they can say, this provider provides this speed in this area.
Yeah.
And so you just look at that, and there's some areas that were extremely underserved.
Yeah.
Now it relies on the ISPs to provide that information. So if you're like a small ISP like ours and you didn't report that information, but you're actually providing that service, there's a chance that there was BEAD money given to overbuild your area.
Yeah.
But if you were reporting accurate information, you were providing 100 by 20 and everything was kosher, then the BEAD money should not be given out to those people and you shouldn't get overbuilt.
But essentially they determined that the minimum requirement for high-speed internet is 100 megabits down and 20 up.
Which I think is pretty reasonable
Yeah,
in
it's-
today's age, because
I agree.
at 100 meg, you can do anything on the internet. You're not going to have any
Yeah.
problems, not going to have any buffering, you know, unless you have a ton of devices. But for a standard household, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not going to have any internet issues with that.
And the funding doesn't really have a limitation. They're funding fiber providers, they're funding wireless providers, they're funding LEO providers,
Yep.
all different sorts to get internet to these people. And what they're really trying to do is get to the people that not already have an okay provider. They're trying to get to people that have no provider.
Yeah.
Their only option is satellite internet.
Satellite internet, or it's like super extremely old DSL where it's like 10 meg.
And the reason that they're funding it and providing funding to the ISPs is because it is so expensive to get to those people.
Yeah, it doesn't make logical sense. Like when you run the numbers to run fiber to some of these areas, it doesn't make financial sense to fiber some of these neighborhoods.
Well, and
You know what I mean? And so BEAD, the idea was to try to get fiber to these neighborhoods, but realistically, it's hard to even make it, even if the government funds it, to run fiber to some of these neighborhoods.
Yeah,
Because
some
the
of them are
cost per
talking like
household-
$10,000 to $20,000 a house just to do construction
Yes.
to that house.
To that house, $10,000 to
Yeah.
$20,000 a house on a, $70 internet connection or whatever takes a long time to
So
pay
no
back.
one's going to build there.
No, and even the government doesn't like that because their dollars don't go as far. The government's handing out the money and saying, hey, this money, we want to make sure it serves the most amount of people most effectively.
Yeah.
And so even at 20,000, they look at that and they're like, well, this isn't even worth it to run it out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then like some of the BEAD money went to like Leo and other providers, the Starlinks and the Amazon type people of the world.
But I believe they were very lowest.
They were limited because BEAD really wanted to do fiber. So
they wanted to do fiber, and then they wanted to do wireless next.
Yeah, but
then last was the Leo. They were the very lowest of the.
They were lowest of the BEAD chain, but they still got some.
Yeah,
but I want to make sure it's $42 billion for the U.S.
Yes,
Arizona only got $993 million.
Yeah,
they service its customers. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that was understood.
And I believe they based that number based off of the number of houses that were underserved.
Yeah, they
did. How much needed allocated.
Yep, they did a percentage. Which neighborhoods or which.
How many homes?
Yeah, how many homes needed the service in the states, and then they divided it up.
So some states probably got a lot less, some states probably got a lot more.
Yep, and then there was some stuff they were going to stop BEAD funding, so it actually put a halt on it for a long time. And I think just now they're starting to actually release those funds and stuff.
Yeah,
because they were thinking about closing down the BEAD funding and not handing it out, but they reversed that, and so now they're actually starting to hand it out. So we've seen some people that have been awarded and starting their project
in Arizona.
I believe up in Prescott, there's a company that's starting doing some fiber to the home up there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So who is it that benefits directly? It's rural Arizona households without a high-speed internet option. Yeah. Small towns that have been ignored. Small towns that have a big gap between them and the big towns.
Yes.
And then maybe they've got 10,000 people in it. Like, it's worthy of serving, but it's so hard to get to.
Yeah.
Local ISPs and CLECs, that can get some aid to build in these areas.
Yeah.
Long term is pretty much everyone in Arizona. There's more competition means better prices.
Definitely benefits the consumer for sure.
Yeah.
And more fiber, more internet options get available. The pricing gets down to where it's more affordable for internet companies. The old, like, I remember a long time ago, the satellite companies that we were competing against, they were charging like $160 a month for internet service.
Yes.
And for slower internet service. And sometimes we could come in and provide double or triple the speed for like half the price.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so like that was happening nonstop. And so that's what the BEAD funding is trying to help out with as well.
Yeah, and some people may be confused, like the federal government is paying these companies to come to me and provide service to me. Why am I being charged for service?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, without the federal government giving them some aid to help get to your house, you'd never get them at
and people should understand they're not fully paying for them to come there. It's like a match.
Yeah, it's like
so like in some areas it's 50-50. So the government's putting up 50% of the money, the ISP's putting up the other.
Yeah, it's 50%. Not like they're just covering your house.
Yeah, some of them are 70-30, some of them are 60-40. I mean, it just depends on how they won the BEAD money. But it's not like they're just paying them to run it up to your house. The ISP is still outputting money to bring the fiber to your house.
Yep. And you can always go look at it. There's the Arizona Commerce Authority, I believe, hosts a website completely on BEAD information to know whether or not your home is going to get internet or fiber internet or any provide. If they've been awarded any BEAD funding, if you're curious, you can go look. And same for all of the other 50 states. They all have a BEAD program. You can go look into it.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's pretty much all we have to talk about for tonight. So let's get into a couple of FAQs and then we'll wrap it up. So let's see, what data are AI companies actually training on right now, and can I opt out? So we kind of already talked about this one, but they're training on your social media posts. They're training on your chats with them. They're training on anything you've made publicly available on the internet.
Yeah.
And you may be able to opt out moving forward by physically not posting anything, making all of your stuff private, not chatting with the bots, deleting your chats with the bots.
Yeah.
But you're only going to prevent it moving forward.
Yeah, just be careful what you share. Don't share super pertinent information. Just be careful on the internet. In general, it's kind of like Just know whatever you put in there, there's a chance it could come up later in life.
Yep.
And do you really want an AI bot having that information?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
next one is, does ChatGPT actually know my home address? And the answer is probably. Have you ever typed it into a chat?
Right.
Do you have it posted anywhere? Is it publicly available information?
If you can search it and find out the internet, for sure AI can find it as well.
Well, and I know for a fact that you can look up a parcel with a county and see who owns it.
Yep. And AI is really good at that.
Yeah.
AI can find that information. Whereas before, you'd have to do some investigative looking on the internet. It wasn't super easy to get to. AI can find it in like a second.
Yeah. You can say
it has access to all the files or whatever, and it'll look it up immediately.
Yes.
AI is really good at information and digesting it at a rapid pace.
This is a question I already answered, but if federal BEAD money is paying for fiber, why do I still have to pay for internet?
Yeah, it's basically they're not funding it 100%. It's like a 60-40 split, 50-50. It just depends on how the BEAD grant was awarded and how much money they were given for that area.
And without the funding, they wouldn't be coming to your house.
No, they would never. They basically bid it on it and said, for this price, I can come to their house.
Yeah.
And then BEAD was like, okay, well, we'll put up the other portion of the money for you to go to that place.
And more than likely, depending on where you are, they're probably still going to lose on your $100 a month internet connection.
Yes.
For the foreseeable future.
Yes, for sure.
Let's see. Can I click reject all cookies on every website and still use the internet normally?
Yes, you can still use it. You're just the trade-offs we talked about.
Yeah.
It might feel clunky. It might feel like it doesn't load as fast. You know what I mean? Like certain things are going to feel broken.
Every time you load your maps, it might end up in Nashville.
Yeah, and you got to recenter your map. It's just, some of the niceties of using the internet are going to go away by clicking reject all cookies.
Yes.
So there are trade-offs.
But you're definitely not going to feel anything if you reject all of the optional cookies.
Right.
It's not going to affect any of your, besides the fact that you're going to be getting random ads instead of targeted ads.
Absolutely.
But I don't think people really care about that.
No.
Okay, what is the difference between a data broker and a company that just uses my data for their own ads?
So a data broker actually buys the information from like companies that host websites.
Yeah.
And then they sell it and package it up and
to the advertisers.
Yep. They go to and say, hey, you can sell your data. If say you just have a website and you have no way to generate revenue on it, but you have all this data, well, that data is worth something.
Yes.
And so you can go to a data broker and say, hey, I've got 5 million users on my website and I know this, and this about them.
Yep.
And the data broker is going to be like, well, that's valuable. I can go sell that. So then the data broker goes and reaches out to businesses that might want to purchase that. Just think about like a niche, like say you're running a website that's about pickleball or whatever, you know what I mean? But you don't make any money on the website.
Like a blog post is
like a blog post about pickleball. But you go to these people and a pickleball paddle company is like, well, I'd buy that data.
Yeah.
You've got 5 million users. You know what I mean? I can use that data to sell people pickleball paddles.
Well, and then like if you've ever been to like what's the red one? It's like, it's not New York Times. It's the NY. I don't know. But anyway, it's a web article and it's all free to read. But you read through there and every 30 seconds of reading, there's a big block of ads.
Yeah.
Not only are they selling your data while you're on their website, they're also selling all of that space to the advertising companies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the advertising companies are buying the data to figure out what to advertise to you.
It's a whole cycle.
It is a big advertising cycle, and they're really good at it.
Yep. So,
okay, well, I think that's everything we got for this week. We got through all the FAQs for probably the first time in 11 episodes.
I know. We made it pretty good.
Yes.
We're getting better at it, I think.
So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for coming back for episode 11, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely. See you later.